Union NUMSA will hold an urgent meeting today following the suspension of Vavi. The union's General Secretary, Ivan Jim, says they have a problem with the way the suspension was imposed. NUMSA and the Eastern Cape South African Municipal Workers Union, SAMWU, have backed Vavi. NUMSA earlier said Cosatu President Zwelinzima Vavi had determined that Vavi brought Cosatu into disrepute before the Central Executive Committee received a report on the matter. Now, for a closer look at the latest developments, we are now joined in the studio by the Director at the Centre for the Study of Democracy, Professor Steven Friedman. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us here at AM News.
Hi, good morning.
Professor, what do you make of the outcome of this meeting yesterday?
Well, of course, technically, Zwelinzima Vavi hasn't lost his job. He's only suspended. But clearly, it's a major setback for him and for the people who are supporting him. I think their fear will be that what is going to happen now is that his opponents will try to string this out as long as possible, to try to keep him suspended as long as possible, so they don't have to actually fire him, but that he's not in his job. So I suppose the next move from NUMSA and unions who support Mr. Vavi will be to insist that the suspension be sorted out one way or another in the next few weeks.
And where does this leave the future for Cosatu?
Well, if this goes where it looks like it may well go, which means that Zwelinzima Vavi will lose his job at some point, it means there's a very real prospect of a split in Cosatu, that NUMSA, the large metalworkers union, may decide at its conference in December that it's not going to participate in Cosatu anymore. And it could mean very serious consequences for the ANC in next year's election, because Cosatu is a very important source of campaigning and mobilizing voters for the ANC. And ANC will be a lot weaker in the election without Cosatu's undivided support.
Do you think this has simply been about the sex scandal, or is there more to this?
Oh, no. You know, the problem is that, whatever one thinks of the way in which Zwelinzima Vavi behaved, all of that has really been pushed to the sidelines by the fact that everybody knows that there is an attempt to get rid of him, that the attempt to get rid of him is not about him as an individual, it's an attempt to make sure that Cosatu is less critical of the ANC, less critical of government, and that people are determined to get rid of him for that reason. So really, clearly the behavior that he's accused of, I think most people would agree is not acceptable behavior. But that's been dwarfed by the fact that this is about internal politics in Cosatu and in the alliance.
Would you say that this would mean the end for Vavi, or is he likely to carry on his own?
Well, I don't think it will mean the end for Vavi, unless he chooses that. He's a popular figure among working people. He's a popular figure in the country. First of all, let's keep on reiterating, this is not necessarily the end of Zwelinzima Vavi as General Secretary of Cosatu. This could end with him being returned to his job, and that certainly does happen with suspension sometimes. If he is pushed out of Cosatu, one option is a rival trade union federation. Another option is some sort of social movement. And the third option is a career in politics. So I think Zwelinzima Vavi is going to be part of South African public life in the future, however this turns out.
Fantastic. Now, NUMSA members have lashed out at Cosatu President Zwelinzima Vavi, accusing him of perpetrating factionalism. Do such allegations have any substance whatsoever?
Oh, no, they have great substance. I mean, Cosatu is clearly factionalized at the moment. Zwelinzima Vavi has denied repeatedly that he's taking sides in the issue. But I think it's quite clear to everybody that he is part of the group which wants to move the ANC closer to move Cosatu closer to the ANC and the SACP, and that he opposes Zwelinzima Vavi on this. At a recent meeting of metal workers, the delegates, the worker delegates, were singing Zwelinzima Vavi, why are you persecuting Vavi? What do you have against Vavi? So the point is that Zwelinzima Vavi, whatever he may feel about this in public, he's clearly associated in the minds of workers who support Zwelinzima Vavi with the attempt to remove him.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us here in the studio.